Alright, for those wondering about my dust collection setup, I'll go through it. The impeller, bag, filter and bag, and this middle section come from the FM300, which is the Timbecon version of the Harbor Freight 2 horsepower unit, a generic unit that is surprisingly good for the price. The filter's no good on it. I need to get a pleated filter for it because this clogs up quite easily and really does actually reduce the airflow quite considerably. I've cleaned that out today. If you look on previous images, you'll see how much gunk collected in it. I don't know if it was the gunk necessarily in this separator-ish portion that was the problem, or whether it was the gunk on the filter. The other part I've got here is this metal cyclone here. It's a HAFCO unit. It was relatively inexpensive and on sale. Some issues with getting the adapters and all of that for the right size fittings, blah, blah, blah. Not a big deal. But it means that I've just cleaned out the bag now, but it was only maybe a quarter full. And I've cleaned out the bag in this unit maybe 10 to 20 times. It really works quite well. I'm not going to say it's as good as an Oneida system or Clearview or whoever, but for the price, quite good. It's not without its flaws. It's pretty terrible construction, but changing this out is infinitely easier than changing a bag on a dust collector. So what I did was separate out the impeller so that I could get that underneath it. It takes up less footprint. It does allow a shorter run of flex hose from the impeller down to the cyclone. You'll notice the switch is floating around there. That's because I replaced the switch so that it wasn't a magnetic or an NVR, no volt release switch, so that I can use a remote on it. As I said, I want to get a pleated filter. It's just a matter of time and money. Then eventually what I'll do is mount this to the wall like that so that I can have a much shorter either flex hose or solid pipe and flex hose connection, and that'll get a bit better airflow, I suppose, less turbulence caused by the flex hose. I'll be able to mount that via these frames. I can take these bolts out and then build a bracket that sits on the wall, bolts directly into that. But I'm cautious of doing that before buying the filter, just because of dimensions and things like that that I don't know, and those unknowns can often bite you in the ass.